Hello traders, and welcome to another exciting edition of our weekly XAUUSD and GBPUSD trade analysis. Okay, so I'm excited to be here with you as we dive into the dynamic world of Forex trading.
Please do well to like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification for our YouTube channel so as to get updates on when we post our weekly forecasts, which are always 99% accurate. And also do well to follow us on all our social media handles so as to get updated on what is going on our ecosystem. So let's dive in for the week's forecast. Okay guys, this is XAUUSD on the daily time frame. Remember, we always do a top-down analysis starting from the bigger time frame down to the smaller time frame. So from what we're seeing here, you agree with me that XAU has been on an uptrend for a while, which was for last week. And I'm just going to highlight two key zones here, which are this zone, this support zone, and this new support zone. So you agree with me that price retested this zone twice, which I'm just going to mark out right here. It retested it right here and right here before moving towards the upside. Formed a new resistance around here, which is just a week. So I had to mark out that point, which is this zone, right here. So price broke out of that resistance, this resistance zone right here, and turned it into a support. It will be more clearer. This is the support we're talking about. I'm just going to mark it out. It will be more clearer or more visible on the smaller time frame. So price has turned that part into a support. So from the daily time frame, what we're expecting are two scenarios. Firstly, we're expecting price to rebound on that support zone, the newly formed support zone which was formed last week, to rebound on the support zone and then continue to the upside. On the flip side, we're expecting price to break the support zone down here and then retest and continue downward. So those are the two scenarios we're expecting for on the daily time frame for XAU. We're expecting price to either, I'm just going to make this tick real thick so it's more visible for us to see. Okay, so we're expecting price to rebound on this support zone right here and then continue to the upside. While if it breaks through this support zone, we're expecting it to retest, which is the arrow I used here, and then continue downwards. So guys, this is the 4 hours time frame on XAUUSD. Remember that I said this was a support zone, which I said was going to be more visible on the smaller time frame, which is the 4 hours and the 1 hour. So looking at this clearly, you see that this is a valid support zone, which XAU has been bouncing on for a while last week. So if we are to see this, if we are to check this, carefully analyze this, we'll see that price has retested this support zone. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So before moving to the upside, so right here what we are expecting for the 4 hours on XAU is still not very different from the daily time frame. So we are expecting a rebound. So we are expecting price to move downward to this support zone and then continue upward. While on the flip side, if price decides to break this zone, then we are expecting price to retest it and continue to the downside. So what we are expecting should be something like this. Should be a break of the support and then a retest before continuing to the downside. But let's not forget, guys, that's on the flip side. Let's not forget that there are still some key zones which will be visible on the 1 hour time frame, which are this and this. These are two zones which are key and will be more visible on the 1 hour time frame. So if price breaks through this structure, that's if price does not go up like we are expecting here. If it breaks through this structure, we're expecting it to rebound, that's retest this structure and then continue to this zone right here or this zone right here. So let's move forward to the 1 hour time frame and see what we're expecting. So guys, this is XAU on a 1 hour time frame. Okay, from here we see that the support we've been talking about is very visible, where price has been rebounding for a while. See that this is where price broke out. So I'm just going to mark this out. This is where price broke out, and then it has retested this support for a while, countless times. It has retested it here visibly, which was not visible on the bigger time frame. It has retested it here. It has retested it here. So the support is a very valid support. For next week on XAUUSD on the 1 hour time frame, we're expecting price to move downward and rebounds on this support before moving to the upside. While on the flip side, still on the 1 hour time frame, you could also expect price to break through this support, retest it, turn it into a resistance before moving downward. So guys, we're expecting two scenarios. We're expecting price to rebound on this support, which is this arrow I used here, and then continue to the upside. While we're also expecting price to break through this support, turn it into a resistance by retesting it, and then continue to the downside. So guys, generally what we're expecting for XAUUSD is a break of the current support and then movement to the downside. Or on the flip side, we're expecting it to rebound on the current support and then continue to the upside. So that's that for XAUUSD. Let's now move to GBPUSD. Okay guys, this is GBPUSD right here on a daily time frame. As you can see on the screen, GBPUSD has been on an uptrend for a while and it has broken out of our trend line right here and also breaking out of the previous support, which was this. I'm just going to mark that out clearly, which was this. So we're expecting price to retest this zone. And then continue to the downside to the next support, which is this. This is also a valid support. The reason why it's a valid support, I'll just zoom out for you to see. I'll just mark it out. As you can see, price has tested this zone one, tested it again twice. So we are also expecting price to retest this zone right here, and then come back to retest this support, move downwards to this support for next week. So I'll just mark it out. Expecting price to move downwards to this zone for next week. But on the flip side, if price decides to retrace upwards, you need to stay active on our Telegram channel so as to get latest updates on price movement. So we'll just move over to the 4 hours time frame to see what we're expecting for GBPUSD. Okay guys, this is the 4 hours time frame on GBPUSD. So as you can see clearly on the 4 hours time frame, you can see that price has respected our trend line. I will mark it out clearly. It has respected our trend line here. It has also respected our trend line here, and also right here before it broke out. So on the 4 hours time frame, guys, we're expecting price to reverse from here and then retest our trend line before continuing downwards. But on the flip side, decides to move downward, we're expecting it to retest this zone. Remember this was a support zone on our daily time frame. This was a valid support zone right here. If price decides to move down, continue downward, we're expecting it to retest the support zone, turn it into a valid resistance, and then move downwards to this zone, to the next support zone, which is this zone right here. So I'll just mark it out for clarity purposes. We're expecting price to rebound right here, retest, and then move downward to this zone. That is for next week on GBPUSD on the 4 hours time frame. So guys, let's move down to the 1 hour time frame and see what we are expecting. Okay guys, still on GBPUSD, this is the 1 hour time frame. Not very different from the 4 hours time frame, as you can see. So I'll just zoom out right here to get clarity. So you can see price broke out of our trend line from here, and then price moved to this zone, this support zone right here. So we're expecting price, if price should break out of this zone to this zone I just marked out, we're expecting price to retest it, which is the arrow I used right here. Retest it and then continue to the downside down to this zone here. So guys, what we are basically expecting for GBPUSD for next week, we're expecting a breakout of the current zone and then a retest and the continuation to the downwards. But on the flip side, if it decides to retrace upwards, we're expecting it to retest our trend line, which is to move upwards to our trend line and then continue downwards. So guys, thank you for having me for this week's episode of our weekly forecast. My name still remains Codex, and please don't forget to like and subscribe and also turn on the notifications so as to get latest notifications on when we drop our weekly forecasts. And also guys, don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles. The links will be dropped in the description of the video below. And also take part in our weekly webinars, which are hosted on Wednesdays, where you get to interact with pro traders who have gained expertise in the field of trading and also win prizes of different kind. We'll be expecting you. So thank you for having me. See you same time, same station next week. GM guys.